What's going on, everybody? Mike here with iSMELL. Hope this video is finding everyone well, that y'all are smelling good and feeling great. In today's video, we are going to be teaming up with the homie Tyler. Not only is Tyler an amazing content creator, he just so happens to be one of the first people who welcomed me into the fold when I started a YouTube channel. So here's how it's going to work. Here in a second, I'm going to hand it off on over to Tyler. He's going to discuss some of his favorite aquatic fragrances right now. He'll kick it off back to me, and then I'll be doing the same. In totality, this will be a top 10 list. In the spirit of not rambling though, I will go ahead and hand it on over to Tyler. I'll see y'all back over here in a few.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Tyler. This is my channel, Simply Fragrances, and here we talk everything fragrance related. We do top 10 videos, seasonal videos, weekly fragrance rotations, fragrance reviews, everything that encompasses fragrances you're gonna find right here. So if that sounds like something that you want to be a part of, be sure and hit that red subscriber. I would really appreciate that. And if you are a subscriber to my channel and Mike's channel, welcome back. So guys, this is gonna be a really fun video. Me and Mike have been talking back and forth, and we've wanted to do a collaboration for quite a while, and here it is finally. Super excited about it. This is going to be our top 10, so I choose 5, he chooses 5 aquatic fragrances, or fragrances that make you think of just an aquatic environment. So really excited to give that to you, so let's go ahead and get into the list. All right guys, so the first fragrance I got on my list, if you guys are grapefruit fans, you guys are going to be in for a real treat. This just came out not too long ago. It's super good, coming from the house of Dolce & Gabbana. This is Italian Love, or Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Italian Love, but that's a mouthful. Anyways, this stuff is fantastic, guys. Like I said, if you are a fan of grapefruit, you should love this. It takes that Forever DNA, but it tones down that grapefruit note, and it gives it more of a sweet, in my opinion, more of a sweet zestiness. It's got a bit of a woody tone to it, so as it dries down, you do get a bit of a woody facet, and it is just absolutely phenomenal. I love light blue forever, don't get me wrong, but this one I find just a little bit easier to wear. I feel with that grapefruit toned down just a bit, makes it a little bit more mass appealing, in my opinion. So first on my list was Italian Love. All right guys, so the next fragrance on my list, this is an OG in the game. Like, everyone and their brother has talked about this. It's probably in a lot of your collections, and for good reason. This is one of my first, what I would consider, big purchases. You know, back when I was 18, 19 years old, I didn't know anything about discounted sites. I don't even know if they were around back then. So I went paid retail for it. What am I talking about? This is Versace's Man Eau Fraiche. And for some reason, this one's kind of polarizing in the community. I didn't think, oh man, that's so good. I didn't think it'd be possible for people not to like this, but I do have a couple buddies that don't really go for this. But for me, it had to make the list. It's just so bright, fresh. It's got this aquatic just vibe to it, so light, crispy, and airy. And it's got the note of starfruit, which I find very interesting. I love starfruit. It's one of my favorite fruits, and it just really gives this a unique type of vibe. There is some pink pepper in here to kind of give it this spicy, almost woody facet to it. This does project pretty good. I mean, I know for being a light fragrance, you might think that you don't get the best performance off of this, but off my skin, this lasts every bit 6, 7, 8 hours, depending on how many sprays you do. It just makes me think of summer, you know, hanging out with the boys, you know, maybe about to go to the swimming pool or something like that. You spray this on, you're feeling fresh. This stuff definitely is amazing. Had to make the list. Versace's Man Eau Fraiche. The next fragrance on this list, this has become one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I love it. It's so simple, but yet so good. It just invokes like a nice springtime, nice summertime day, kind of invokes like maybe being by the seashore. You got the water, maybe some, you know, driftwood in the background. What am I talking about, guys? From the house of Giorgio Armani, this is Aqua di Gio, and this is Absolute. And for some reason, this fragrance doesn't get a lot of love. It's like, you know, the black sheep of the Aqua di Gio line. Don't really know why. I love it. It's been rumored to have been discontinued, so if you haven't got a bottle and you love it, maybe get a first bottle or a backup bottle, just because I do think this one will start to go up in price here soon. Not 100% sure that it's discontinued, but the rumors are pretty strong about it, and it's getting harder and harder to find at, you know, the Sephora's and places like that. But this is just absolutely amazing. In my opinion, it is a spring and summertime must-have. Really invokes, like I said, maybe being by like a seashore or something like that. You have the water, the ocean from front of you, and maybe some trees, like driftwood, stuff like that in the back, because this does have, you know, this kind of aquatic ozonic note. Got some melon in there, got some different citruses, but it is quite woody in the dry down, and it gives it a bit of a backbone. This stuff is absolutely amazing. I get, honestly guys, it's crazy for it being such a light, you know, kind of airy type of fragrance. 6, 7, 8 hours, depending on how many sprays that I do. You can spray this one pretty heavy. I'm talking maybe 6, 7, 8 sprays and you're good to go. You're not gonna offend anybody. Super good, super mass appealing. Like I said, don't know why it doesn't get more love. I absolutely love this. Aqua de Gel, absolute. So I had to include just one of my all-time favorite fragrances on this house. It invokes just traveling through the Mediterranean Sea. That's actually what this fragrance was based off of, was, you know, his journey to the Mediterranean Sea with his family on their sailboat, just traveling through the sea. Just that bright sea note that you're gonna get in here, the citruses, it's amazing. What am I talking about, guys? This is Creed's Irolfa. Now, for some reason, this is a lesser known Creed. I don't know why, because it is absolutely gorgeous, guys. You get this bright, fresh lemon, lime, bergamot. There's some melon in here. It does have a bit of a musky tone to it, so it does kind of have this gentleman quality to it in the first opening, but that lasts maybe just a couple minutes, and then you get this bright, fresh lemon, lime, bergamot, some melon. There is a bit of a woody tone to this as well. It does last quite a while. This is an older batch, as you can tell. The newer batches, I can't really vouch for. I don't have a newer batch. I specifically wanted to get an older batch just because they do perform just a little bit better. But from what I hear, the newer batches aren't too bad as well. Now, this is a pretty penny. Obviously, it's in the realm of niche, so you know, if you can, I recommend getting an older batch. That's just my own opinion, but people do say the newer batches still hold up. So Creed's Irolfa, definitely had to make this list. We're down to the last fragrance on my list. Again, I want to thank Mike so much for having me on here. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much, bro. It's been great. So last fragrance I got, this is also a niche fragrance, but it is so worth it in my opinion. The quality that is behind this fragrance is like none other. If you guys like vetiver, if you guys like a bright, fresh, citrusy type of fragrance with a bit, like I said, a vetiver, kind of a woody dry down, you guys gotta check out Rojas Elysium. This stuff is ridiculous, guys. Such an amazing, amazing fragrance. It's kind of a juicy quality to this. This makes me think of just like being in Hawaii. Like, it's so good. The citruses that you get that kind of vetiver, green, grassy type of vibe to it. Makes me think of maybe just kind of laying out on a beach chair by the ocean. You have the palm trees in the background. You have all that green, you know, shrubs and bushes and stuff like that, maybe up on the mainland coming down. You get a bit of a floral note in here. It is just absolutely gorgeous, super great aquatic. It is a bit, you know, it will cost you a little bit, but the quality that you get from a Roja fragrance is like none other. They don't skip out on the perfume oils, and it is blended to perfection. So Rojas Elysium had to make the list. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching this. I do appreciate that. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, no worries, go ahead, come to my channel, hit that red subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. I wanna thank Mike again so much for having me on here. This has been a blast. I can't wait until we do another one. I'm gonna hand it back over to you, bro.
Thank you, Tyler, for sharing some of your favorite aquatic fragrances with us. I knew you would nail it. You absolutely did. I need to get my nose on that Dolce & Gabbana Italian Love like ASAP. I've already been to Macy's twice, and they yet to have a tester out on display to smell. So I will be getting my nose on that. I just need to get to Macy's again to see if they have it out yet. But I'm not gonna take too much of y'all's time. I'm gonna jump into my portion of the list. And what I'm gonna say about this first fragrance is that I think it's somewhat of a sleeper, which is crazy considering how easy to wear and likable the scent profile is. Fragrance number 1 comes from the house of Cartier. The name of this one is Pasha de Cartier Edition Noir Sport. Yeah, it has a very long name. And what I'm gonna say right out the gate is that if you are a fan or grew up loving the original Aqua di Gio Pour Homme, I'm fairly confident you're gonna enjoy this one as well. This one here has a melange of citrus notes. You're gonna have aquatic notes. It's gonna have creamy sandalwood as well as very warm amber. I'll give you a couple sprays, let you know what I smell on this fragrance. I already know for the most part it's a fruity, fresh, and ozonic fragrance that, yeah, it smells great. The opening of this fragrance is absolutely stellar, you guys. It doesn't smell like just bergamot. It doesn't smell like just oranges or lemon. Instead, it smells like a citrus melody, like a combination, a hybrid of all those. And when you mix in those ozonic aquatic notes, it just has this way of drawing you in. This is going to be in conjunction with some creamy sandalwood, and this sandalwood is in fact the pasha vibe that people come to know and love. In the late dry down, the base, you are going to get some very warm amber. It just kind of glues this whole composition together. Again, with this wearing similar to Acqua di Gio, by no means are we reinventing the wheel here, but for a fragrance that you can just throw on your gym bag and go, this one is going to do the job. Definitely a fragrance I'm going to be reaching for this summer once it heats up. It's one of my favorite aquatics. It comes from the house of Cartier. This one is Pasha de Cartier Edition Noir Sport. Okay, so fragrance number 2 is no stranger to the channel, as I have featured it on numerous occasions. It is also a fragrance which has successfully been able to permeate throughout a good majority of the fragrance community, and for good reason. Fragrance number 2 comes from the Middle Eastern house of Rasasi. The name of this one goes by Rasasi Hawaz. Hawaz is a good fragrance because it's a super versatile do-it-all type fragrance that can be worn in a wide array of scenarios and can be pulled off in the cold weather just as easily as that can be pulled off in the hot weather as well. I will admit though, it is quite similar to several other fragrances within the market. Some of those are going to include Invictus as well as Invictus Aqua. It's going to be similar to Mont Blanc Legend Spirit as well as even Acqua di Gio Absolute. I'll throw in a couple in the air for you right now, let you know what I pick up on, but I already know what the notable notes are. Notable notes on this one is going to include plum as well as watery notes. You're going to see this trend. It's also going to contain ambergris, driftwood, and musk. What you get with this beautiful purple juice is a fresh and fruity bubblegummy type DNA watered down with aquatic musks. In terms of its scent, sillage, and seasonality, this one right here is a no-brainer. Listen, I have over 100 fragrances within my collection and I have already used at least half of this bottle. That has to count for something. At the number 2 spot from the house of Rasasi, we have Rasasi Hawaz. The third fragrance we're going to be talking about today is one that has recently been discontinued. So in short, that means that they're not going to be producing any new bottles. Having said that, if this is a fragrance that has been on your radar for some time now actually might be the time to scoop up a bottle before the market dries up. Fragrance number 3 comes from the house of Bulgari. The name of this one is Aqua Atlantique. In a nutshell, Aqua Atlantique is a fresher aquatic version of Dylan Blue, and then they add a maritime, a seacoast type vibe. In a nutshell, this one is going to have a soured, seaweedy shower gel type vibe, which at first glance might sound repulsing, but in some weird way, it just works. I'll give you a couple sprays on this one as well. Again, I already know what it smells like. On this, you're gonna get a very salty sea accord. You're gonna pick up on a fair amount of citruses. There's a healthy dose of both amberwoods as well as ambergris. I will admit that unlike many of the other reviewers, this one doesn't have eternal longevity on me. It never goes beast mode on my skin, but it's quite possible that I'm just going nose blind because of the good amount of ambroxan that's in this fragrance. I will also state that I'm not the biggest fan of this bottle. I do prefer fragrance bottles that I can just sit on my shelf versus having to buy a secondary accessory. But all that aside, in terms of a highly versatile, mass appealing, ultramarine fragrance that can cut through the high heat of Texas, this one is top tier stuff. Again, if this is a fragrance that has been on your radar, now might be the perfect time to pick it up before the price skyrockets. I think the price point on this one right now is right around that $50 to $60 price point, and that's not breaking the bank. At the number 3 spot from Bulgari, we have Aqua Atlantique. So I really went back and forth with this 4th fragrance. It almost didn't even make it into this video. The reason being is that this is not a fragrance that I always wear. But if I'm being honest with myself, the truth of the matter is that I always enjoy wearing it when I do. Fragrance number 4 comes from the extremely popular Middle Eastern clone house of Armaf. This one goes by the name of Armaf Milestone. So for those of y'all who are new to the fragrance hobby, it is worth reiterating that Armaf Milestone is a direct reinterpretation of a higher end fragrance, a $400 fragrance from Creed called Millesime Imperial. Mind you, you can pick up Milestone for right around the $40 price point. Milestone is going to be a unique combination of salty, bitter, and sweet accords which blend and play off each other masterfully. The notable notes on this one is going to include red berries, salty oceanic notes. You're going to get violet, white woods, as well as ambroxan. The original Millesime Imperial has a watermelon note, and this one has red berries, but it does in fact have a fresh melon vibe with it. This is going to be in conjunction with those salty oceanic notes, and the composition is going to sit on some ozonic violet. It comes across as powdery, and then the base is going to be comprised of white woods and ambroxan. It's not a very heavy fragrance, and it's very good for hot weather. Again, with this being a clone fragrance, I would never go on record to state that Armaf Milestone itself is a unique fragrance, but in the way that this scent profile expresses itself, it is a unique scent profile when you compare it to many of the other Aquatics at the same price point. Definitely a fragrance worth getting your nose on if you haven't already, and one I'm going to be pulling for once Texas hits that 90-degree weather. At the number 4 spot, Armaf Milestone. Last but not least is a fragrance that I deem to be an essential for every serious fragrance enthusiast. It's one that I enjoy so much that I opted for the hefty 6.7 ounce bottle. Fragrance number 5 comes from Dolce & Gabbana. This one goes by the name of Light Blue Eau Intense. Light Blue Eau Intense is a best-selling summer staple for very good reason. Created by the king of aquatic freshies, Alberto Moreales, crafted one of the more iconic aquatic scent profiles to have ever been created in the designer realm. This one is a powerhouse for summer, you guys. It comes across as smelling refreshing and reinvigorating. The notable notes on this one is going to include salty seawater, grapefruit, musk, as well as juniper. Yeah, the opening is going to have an extremely biting grapefruit that weaves seamlessly in and out with those ozonic, salty sea notes, and the whole composition, which isn't that complex, is going to be sitting on a musky base. To the trained nose, you'll even pick up on some spicy green juniper. Yes, it does have some spicy green facets. This one I deem to be a dumb reach quintessential in my fragrance collection for hot weather. It's one of my favorite fragrances to wear once Texas gets in that 95 to 100 degrees. Definitely one of my favorite fragrances, one of my favorite aquatic fragrances in general, and still the king of aquatic freshies as far as I'm concerned. Last but not least, at the number 5 spot, we have Light Blue Eau Intense. Alright, you guys, that pretty much is going to wrap it up for the video. I hope one of these aquatics spoke to you. I did want to provide somewhat of a buying guide just in case you wanted to add a few more aquatics into your summer rotation. I want to thank Tyler for teaming up with me to do this collaboration. Thank you, brother. I really do appreciate you. I hope this is the first of many collaborations moving forward. If you enjoy fragrance related content, if you found value in this video specifically, I am going to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Listen, it takes like 2 seconds. Just click the button. It's free dollars. It literally costs you nothing. We have a ton of exciting content coming down the pipe, including more collaborations. You never know who's gonna pop up, so stay tuned. Until next time, you guys, y'all take care, stay safe. Bye.